My beloved child, there are seasons in life when you do not understand why certain questions remain without answers, why some things that seem simple are covered in uncertainty, and why matters that belong to the truth appear to be hidden for so long. But today, I want you to know that nothing lies beyond my light. No matter is buried so deeply that I cannot reach it. No secret is hidden long enough to escape my righteousness, for I am the one who sees what human eyes cannot see, hears what no one speaks aloud, and knows every motive concealed within the heart. As it is written, for nothing is secret that will not be revealed, nor anything hidden that will not be known and come to light. Luke 8:17. Therefore, when my appointed time comes, the truth will be brought into the light in a way no one can prevent. My beloved child, perhaps there have been times when you felt misunderstood, forgotten, or not rightly valued. Perhaps you once wondered why certain things seemed unfair, why your efforts were not acknowledged, or why doors that should have opened appeared to close before you. But I want you to understand that my righteousness does not operate according to the timetable of man. What you call delay is often preparation, so that restoration may take place more completely. If I were to act too soon, you might receive only a portion of what I desire to give. But when my time comes, I do not merely deal with the surface, I touch the very root of the matter. Do not allow your heart to be carried away by speculation or by conclusions built upon passing emotions. There are people who spend their entire lives searching for secrets, yet in the end, they miss what matters most, seeking me. Therefore, instead of allowing curiosity to lead you, allow truth to guide your way. I do not want you to live by vague signs or unverified assumptions. I want you to walk in wisdom, in prayer, and in the light of my word. As it is written, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119:105. When you allow my word to lead you, you will not lose your way amid the conflicting voices of the world. Remember the story of Joseph. For many years, he was treated unjustly. He was sold by his own brothers, falsely accused, though he was innocent, and forgotten in prison. If one looked only at each separate stage, everything seemed filled with injustice. Yet I was still working behind the veil. At the appointed time, the truth was revealed, honor was restored, and the position I had ordained for him was established. What I want you to learn from that story is not to wait for an instant miracle, but to learn how to trust when you cannot yet see the whole picture. For my righteousness never falls asleep, and my faithfulness never fails. My beloved child, there are memories that suddenly return to your mind. There are old stories, old people, or things that seem to have been closed, yet suddenly appear again in your thoughts. Do not be quick to conclude that every one of these things carries a mysterious meaning. Many times, I allow those memories to return in order to heal, to teach, or to help you view the past through a new light. What matters is not searching for every lost detail, but allowing me to transform the way you see what has happened. For true healing does not come from knowing every secret, but from surrendering everything to me and allowing me to rule over it with my peace. I also want you to remember that your value is not determined by what you receive from people, nor is it determined by what others have taken away from you. Your value is determined by the fact that you belong to me, whether others acknowledge it or not, whether they understand it or not. What I have placed within you still retains its full worth. As it is written, I have called you by your name, you are mine. Isaiah 43:1. When you hold firmly to this truth, you will no longer live in fear of being abandoned or of losing what belongs to you. You will learn to rest in the assurance that I know exactly who you are and what is truly meant for you. My beloved child, if there is anything that needs to be restored in your life, I am powerful enough to restore it. If there is anything that needs to be made clear, I am wise enough to reveal it at the right time. If there is anything that needs to be corrected, I am righteous enough to do it perfectly. But what I am calling you to today is not to live in the tension of waiting for every secret to be opened, but to live in trust. For mature faith is not based on knowing everything, but on knowing the one who holds everything. Perhaps at this moment you do not yet see all the answers clearly. Perhaps there are still questions that remain unanswered. But I am teaching you something more precious than answers: how to trust me in the midst of what you do not yet understand. That is where faith becomes mature. That is where peace that surpasses understanding begins to rule your heart. And that is where you discover that my presence is worth more than any secret being revealed. Therefore, my beloved child, let your heart rest in my faithfulness. Release the burden of trying to resolve everything on your own. Continue to walk in the light, in integrity, and in love. What needs to be revealed will be revealed. What needs to be restored will be restored. What belongs to you, according to my goodwill, shall not be lost. And when you look back, you will realize that my righteous hand had been quietly guiding all things into their proper place, not according to the timing of man, but according to the perfect wisdom of the one who has loved you from everlasting. My beloved child, there have been seasons when I gave you time to learn, to mature, to be healed, and to be prepared. There have been stages when I allowed you to pause, to reflect, and to seek guidance. But today, I want you to understand that not every season is a season of waiting. There are moments when preparation must give way to action. There are doors that open only for a certain period of time. There are opportunities given not for you to stand at a distance and observe, but for you to step into them by faith. And I say to you, this is the season of response, the season of courageous steps, the season in which you can no longer continue delaying what I have placed within your heart. My beloved child, I know what is taking place in your mind. I know there are parts within your heart that are still looking for one more confirmation. You want to be certain that you are not mistaken. You want to see a little more clearly before you move forward. You want more evidence that the path ahead truly comes from me. But I ask you, if you could see the entire journey from beginning to end, would that still be faith? Faith does not begin when every question has been answered. Faith begins when you choose to trust me more than your own understanding. As it is written, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. Remember Abraham. When I called him to leave his homeland, I did not give him a detailed map. I did not explain how every stage of the journey would unfold. I simply told him to go to the land that I would show him. And it was in that obedience that he stepped into the destiny I had prepared for him. If he had stayed behind, waiting for everything to become clear before he moved, he would never have seen the promise fulfilled. My beloved child, many times what keeps you from moving forward is not a lack of ability, but the desire to control everything before you begin. Yet the path of faith always requires surrender. I know there have been opportunities in the past that passed by because you thought you were not ready. There were times when I opened a door, but fear caused you to remain where you were. There were times when I placed a new step before you, but you allowed doubt to pull you back to the familiar. However, I do not say this to condemn you. I say it to awaken you. For what I am preparing today is greater than what has passed. I do not want you to continue living under the weight of missed opportunities. I want you to learn from them and walk forward with greater strength. For my grace does not only forgive the times you delayed, that grace also gives you the opportunity to respond again. My beloved child, one of fear's greatest strategies is to make you believe that you must be perfect before you can begin. It whispers that you need more knowledge, more resources, more recognition, or more time. But look at the people I used in Scripture. Moses felt that he was not eloquent in speech. Jeremiah believed he was too young. Gideon thought he was too weak. Peter failed many times. Yet what I sought in them was not perfection, but willingness. When they answered, I did the rest. When they stepped forward, I gave them strength. When they opened their hearts, I opened the way. Remember the moment when the people of Israel stood before the Red Sea. Behind them was Pharaoh's army, and before them was the sea. Everything seemed impossible, but I did not tell them to set up camp for a few more months to analyze the situation. I did not tell them to keep debating all the possible outcomes. I said, go forward, and when they obeyed, the sea began to part. Do you see? Many times, the miracle appears after the step of faith, not before the step of faith. There are doors that open only when you move toward them. There are waters that part only when your feet step down. My beloved child, I want you to distinguish between wisdom and delay. Wisdom is seeking my guidance before you act. But delay is continually searching for more reasons not to act, even after I have spoken clearly. There are people who spend their whole lives preparing but never begin. There are people who spend their whole lives waiting for the perfect moment, only to realize that time has passed them by. I do not want that to happen to you. I have given you enough light for the next step. You do not need to see the entire journey in order to take one step. You only need enough trust to follow the light I am giving you today. Perhaps right now you still feel afraid. Perhaps your heart still carries questions that have not yet been answered. But I am not asking you to remove fear completely before you move forward. I am only asking you not to let fear become your guide. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is choosing obedience even while fear is still present. David stepped out to face Goliath, not because he failed to notice the giant's size, but because he recognized that the power of God was greater than that giant. My beloved child, there are things I am preparing for you that you cannot yet fully imagine. There are doors waiting for your footsteps. There are people waiting for the testimony of your life. There are souls that will be encouraged by your obedience. But if you continue to remain in the place of safety, simply because you fear failure, you will never see what I have prepared. As it is written, no one, having put his hand to the plow and looking back, is fit for the kingdom of God. Luke 9. Lo Shirar. This is not a word of rebuke, but a call to move forward. Therefore, my beloved child, rise and walk. Do not wait until everything becomes perfect. Do not wait until everyone agrees with you. Do not wait until there is no longer any anxiety within your heart. Step forward with what you have today. Entrust to me what you do not yet know. Allow me to guide what you do not yet understand. For the one who called you is also the one who will keep you. The one who opens the door is also the one who walks with you as you pass through that door. And one day, when you look back, you will realize that what changed your life was not the moment everything became clear, but the moment you decided to trust me and walk by faith. My beloved child, there are times in the journey of faith when you look at yourself and see only your limitations. You remember your failures more than your victories. You look at what you do not yet have and forget what I have already placed in your hands long ago. But today, I want you to pause for a moment and look at your life through my eyes. I do not see you as an ordinary person, merely trying to survive from day to day. I see a soul created with intention, formed with a clear purpose, and called to carry the light of heaven into the very generation in which you are living. Before you uttered your first cry upon the earth, I knew your name. Before you became aware of your own worth, I had already placed that worth within you. As it is written, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I sanctified you. Jeremiah 1. 5. This means that your life is not a sequence of random events. Not one experience you have gone through is meaningless. Not one scar upon your soul exists beyond my ability to use it for good. The things you call pain, I can turn into testimony. The things you call failure, I can turn into a foundation. The things you call loss, I can use to teach you lessons that no school on this earth could ever teach. My beloved child, I know there have been times when you felt out of place among the crowd. There are places where you are present, yet you still feel that you do not truly belong. There are conversations that make you realize your soul is searching for something deeper than what surrounds you. Do not consider this weakness. Many times, that very feeling is evidence that I am drawing your heart closer to eternal things. For a heart created for heaven can never be fully satisfied with the fleeting things of the world. I have placed within you a longing greater, deeper, and higher than what the natural eye can see. And because you were not created to walk alone, I am also preparing people who will walk with you in the seasons ahead. There are encounters you do not yet know about today, but they have long been part of my plan. There are people who will appear at the right time to encourage you when you are weary, support you when you are weak, and remind you of the things I have spoken over your life. They do not come to take my place, but to reflect my love and care. Remember Jonathan and David. In the most difficult seasons, I used a faithful friend to strengthen the other. In the same way, I know that you need relationships built on sincerity, on the fear of God, and on selfless love. But my beloved child, alongside those who are sent to support you, there will also be other voices that try to pull you away from what I am doing. Not every piece of advice leads to life. Not every open door comes from me. Not every promise that sounds attractive carries the peace of heaven. Therefore, I call you to learn discernment. Let my peace be the umpire within your heart. Let my word become the standard by which you measure all things. As it is written, test the spirits, whether they are of God. 1 John 4:1. Do not run after every noise of the world and miss the gentle voice of the Holy Spirit within your heart. My beloved child, even now, I am kindling a new fire within you, not the fire of temporary emotion, but the fire of devotion. There are old things that need to be burned away. There are fears that need to be released. There are ways of thinking that have held you back for many years and must be replaced with truth. Just as the two disciples on the road to Emmaus said that their hearts burned within them while the Lord spoke to them, I also desire for your heart to be set aflame by my presence. For when that fire is kindled, circumstances will no longer be what determine your future. What determines your future is the one who is leading you. Do not regret the things I have asked you to let go of. Do not turn back to look at the doors that have closed. Do not allow old seasons to hold you back when I am opening a new season before you. Remember the people of Israel. If they had continued longing for Egypt, they would never have entered the promised land. There are things you must leave behind, not because they are entirely bad, but because they no longer belong to where I am taking you. I do not take away in order to make you poor. I remove so that your hands may be free to receive something greater. My beloved child, my promises are not canceled by delay. The things I have spoken are still moving toward fulfillment. There are seeds you have sown in tears, whose fruit you have not yet seen today. There are prayers you lifted up long ago that seem still to remain unanswered. But I say that not one sincere prayer is forgotten before my throne. As it is written, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. Psalm 126:5. What is coming is not merely receiving, it is fullness. I do not only want to bless you, I want to make you a source of blessing. There will come a time when the weary will find hope through your testimony. Those who are wounded will see healing through your journey. Those who are desperate will receive strength when they hear the story of my faithfulness in your life. For the ultimate purpose of restoration is not for you to live only for yourself, but for your life to become a living testimony of the love and power of God. Therefore, my beloved child, do not shrink back from what is unfolding. Do not allow the news around you, negative words, or temporary circumstances to cause you to lose courage. Continue to walk by faith. Keep your eyes fixed on me. When doubt appears, remember what I have spoken. When trials come, hold firmly to the promises. When you feel that you are not enough, remember that your sufficiency is not found in your own ability, but in me. For I am the one who began the good work in you, and I am also the one who will bring that work to completion. The doors I have appointed to open will open. The things I have promised will come to pass, and you will realize that throughout the entire journey, my loving hand has never left your life for even a single moment. My beloved child, I know that deep within your heart there are still very beautiful desires. You once hoped that the people you love would understand what you are carrying inside. You once hoped they would see what I am doing in your life, rejoice with what I am revealing, and walk with you on the path where I am leading you. There were times when you tried to explain, tried to share, and tried to open your heart with all the sincerity you had. Yet you came to realize that not everyone is able to see what I am showing you. It is not because they are completely without love, but because each person is on a separate journey, in a different timing of spiritual awakening. My beloved child, do not let your heart become heavy because of this. Remember that even when Jesus walked among his people, revealing love, healing the sick, and proclaiming heavenly truth, there were still those who rejected him. Some doubted, some mocked, some turned away, even though truth was standing right before their eyes. But Jesus did not allow human rejection to hinder the mission the Father had entrusted to him. He continued to love, continued to serve, and continued to walk in the will of God. You must do the same. Do not allow the reactions of others to determine your obedience. Do not allow the fact that others do not yet understand to make you doubt what I am doing in your life. I want you to understand an important truth. You have not been given the responsibility of changing people's hearts. Only I can touch the deepest places within their souls. Only the Holy Spirit can open spiritual eyes and awaken the heart. What I ask of you is not to carry the burden of saving others upon your shoulders. What I ask is faithfulness. Live truthfully. Love sincerely. Pray faithfully. Bear witness through your transformed life. Then leave the rest in my hands. As it is written, I planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase. 1 Corinthians 3:6. You are not the one who makes the seed sprout. You are simply called to sow the seed in love and faith. My beloved child, in the seasons ahead, I will also bring new companions into your journey. There are relationships born not out of coincidence, but out of heavenly arrangement. I will place beside you hearts that know how to listen, people who understand the language of faith, people who recognize what I am doing in you, even when you do not need to explain too much. They will not pull you away from my calling, but will encourage you to step more deeply into it. They will stand beside you in difficult hours, intercede for you when you are weak, and remind you of the promise when you are weary. As David had Jonathan, as Paul had Timothy, I also know how to prepare the right people for each season of your life. However, you must learn discernment. Not everyone who enters your life is sent to walk with you for the long term. There are people who appear only for a short season. There are people who come to teach you a lesson and then leave. There are people who appear as a test of your spiritual wisdom. Therefore, do not let attractive words or outward appearance determine your trust. Look at the fruit of their lives. Let my peace guide your heart. As it is written, you will know them by their fruits. Matthew 7, 16. Anything that pulls you away from peace, away from truth, and away from my presence should not become the voice that leads you. My beloved child, I am also calling you to let go of what has remained behind. There are memories you still often return to. There are old conversations you quietly repeat again and again in your mind. There are wounds you have carried for so long that they have become part of the way you see life. But I say, it is time to move forward. Remember the warning given to Lot's family when they left the city that was being destroyed. Lot's wife looked back and became trapped in what she refused to release. My beloved child, I do not want your soul to be held back by what I have already brought you out of. Your future is not behind you. What I have prepared for you is always ahead. Perhaps right now you do not yet see the fullness of what I am doing. Perhaps the changes are taking place more slowly than you expected. But do not despise the small steps of obedience. A small seed can become a great tree. A simple prayer can change an entire generation. One faithful decision today can open a door whose full meaning you may not understand until many years later. Remember David. Before he became king, he was only a faithful shepherd boy in the wilderness. Yet it was in those small things that I prepared him for something greater. My beloved child, do not fear the changes that are taking place. I know that the human heart often feels safe with what is familiar. But sometimes, the familiar is the very thing that is limiting you. I am not changing your life in order to make you lose direction. I am changing it to bring you closer to the purpose I ordained beforehand. As it is written, behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Isaiah 43:19. When I make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert, it is not meaningless disruption, but preparation for a new season of life. Therefore, my beloved child, rise with new courage. Do not let old words continue to define you. Do not let old wounds continue to bind you. Do not let yesterday's disappointment steal today's hope. You belong to me. You are kept by my love. You are guided by my hand. And no matter how the world around you changes, I am still the one who never changes. I still see every tear you shed. I still hear every hidden prayer. I am still working even in the days that seem most ordinary. Continue to walk in faithfulness, because it is precisely in the small and unseen things that I will accomplish great things beyond anything you have ever imagined.